That's the number one time to get in the woods, November, for most whitetail hunters across the country. It's also the number one time for deer fails. It's number one time for deer success. But if you see the consistent failures over and over again, 3 of them that I picked out here, and they actually include a variety of failures within each one. But I want to make sure you have a successful November. So not only do we look at how to hunt November and how to hunt October, but we look at those fails for each month too, because those can guide you to success. In fact, I can tell you what to do, but once you fail and do it wrong several times, that's often the best way to learn. And the best way to learn and skip ahead from that is just to learn from other people's failures. And this didn't work, so let's move on. But number 1, not having solid morning options. My favorite rut stand is a morning stand. My favorite morning stand is a bedding area morning stand. So really important to have those options during the morning. But it's not just the morning option of, yes, mature bucks move 3 times more, even during the rut, during the morning hours. It's cooler, usually quieter, not as many deer hunters in the woods often. But the morning gives you a lot of opportunity than just looking at buck movement. Morning opportunity means that you have defined stand locations. These are afternoon food source stands. These are morning stands, bedding area stands. You have a definition of an assemblage of stands that helps you define this is a morning stand, this is an evening stand. Not only does that give you more options, but then it shows you understand that deer are moving towards food sources or afternoon food source in the afternoon, and then they're coming back to their bedding areas in the morning. You can't hunt an afternoon food source in the morning because you'll spook deer out going in. So having morning stands shows you understand hunting strategy, shows you understand stand management, and it shows you understand deer behavior. So having that morning stand, again, I said this encompass a variety of fails or strategies, but you have to have those morning stands. Shows you're a good hunter, good deer manager, good stand manager, shows a lot. And the ones that have those morning stands, afternoon stands, and when you hear people saying they kill deer every time in the afternoon, it's hard to kill your target buck then, because what food source are they going to? Maybe they go to that food source. I'm not saying that it's a bad tactic hunting in the afternoon. I love hunting in the afternoon. I've killed about 30% of my bucks in the afternoon, evening. I like it. But the bottom line is there's so much opportunity in the morning that people miss. And I don't want you to be one of them. Another big failure is not being smart or patient. Again, the season's a marathon, not a sprint. Yes, you have your rutcation for 9 days, but there's this thing called the second rut, about a month after the first rut, that's outstanding. Some areas that could be 30% of the does are coming into estrus at that time, and the bucks will behave during that time just like they would during the peak rut. Maybe you don't see as many in a daily sit, but rest assured there's a second rut, and it's a lot of fun to sit, and we've shot a lot of bucks during that time. Huge opportunity. So just always know you have that around the corner. You don't have to go in all for broke. You don't have to not be smart. You still have to follow wind. Your best form of scent control is where you blow your scent while you're on your stand. That's predetermined. You can determine that. Being smart about not over hunting stands. Having that morning stand, having that afternoon stand, having options. Making sure that you use your best stands for the best weather conditions and your worst stands for the worst. Maybe you hunt every day. That's okay. But pick your stands. You think, you know what, I want to hunt this stand. I don't have a lot of hope in this, but it's a bad weather day. I'm just going to go enjoy the woods and sit down and see what happens. Something might happen. We're just playing odds when we were playing poker in the deer woods when we go to a rut stand. There's a lot of things that'll stack the deck in your favor. Weather, hunting pressure, lack of hunting pressure, good food or good cover. You can put a lot of things together. What kind of story I wrote a chapter in my first book about tree stand stories. What kind of story does your stand tell? If it tells a story of lack of hunting pressure, good food, good cover, good deer movement, good variety, habitat, then you probably, the longer the story it tells, the better the option, or the better the chance it's going to be a good spot to hunt. Folks, it's time for the rut, and that means you need to check out my rut web class. It'll help you navigate the entire rut. But more importantly, QuietKat is one of our important partners, and through that partnership, they've offered to clients, people that contact us, an incredible discount and opportunity to buy a new QuietKat. Look for an email that you can contact and the contact information in the description, but I really want to pass that off to you. We don't do that very often, but I want to make sure you guys don't miss out if you're looking and in the market for a new QuietKat. But you have to still be smart and patient. You can't push it. You can't go say, I'm going to go, boy, it's third day of my rutcation. I see other people post some big bucks online they shot. I have 9 days. I need to go right in the middle of that bedding area and just go sit. I need to go hang a new stand, put up a blind. Big, big fails. Number 3, not having a variety in stand locations. This goes back to morning, evening, but it's not just that. You shouldn't have just one stand that you're going to sit on for the whole rut. Now, maybe you're on a great funnel in public land. That buck you're shooting one day might not be there for 4 days. He might be 2 miles away when you go into that stand. So I find you can almost like burn a stand out on public land in a good way. You know that it's a great funnel. It has a lot of things going for it. And you're going to keep going and going because bucks move in large areas over days, not hours or within a 24-hour period. So you're just waiting for that buck to show up. So putting long time on a stand in a good location is a good strategy in public land or big wilderness areas. But when it comes to private land, you can burn that spot out really quick because the deer are, their whole focus of their daily focus and how far they move is really shrunk down. So when it's shrunk down, that means they're likely going by that stand. They're smelling your scent after you used it, after you walk out 3 hours later. Maybe they got downwind of you on stand, you didn't even know it. You know, most mature bucks, when they get downwind of you, they're probably just going to turn around and walk away. You're never going to know they were there. They don't blow, they don't run. Sometimes they do. Can't ever say never. But the bottom line is, there's a lot of deer you spook that you don't even know you spook. So the more times you use a stand in a row, the more chance you have of ruining your hunt and just having a stale rut. So have variety. Make sure you focus on those best days for your best stands. And then finally, make sure you have those morning options. If you have solid morning options, 2 or 3 with different winds, boy, that's a great strategy in itself, getting in and out and making sure that you really take advantage of those morning options where bucks are on their feet a lot more often, and often there's not a lot of hunters in the woods. I want you to be one of the ones that is in the woods. Dylan, is there a number 4 you're thinking?
Yeah, I feel like you did a really
good job. As far as a fail.
You did a great job covering a lot of the stuff that I was thinking of was encompassed in what you were talking about. So I feel like I'm kind of...
so I might have blocked you.
I'm rallying here, and I'm going to go with, a lot of people leave the bow in the truck this time of year, and they stop shooting. And so, like, for me, I want to do pin checks. That bow's rattling around in the back of my truck, or I'm trying on different layers. Maybe I got gloves on, and I've been shooting without gloves. Just make sure you're shooting in the conditions that you're going to be shooting in while you're in the tree stand.
Especially when we're hunting more. I know, like I have that bow sling I've been using, but it doesn't matter if it's a bow sling or not. I'm knocking in and brushing to trees, going up like half-hour walk up and down, going into Coon Valley, let alone even if we ride one of our bikes down here or thrown into the back of the truck. I have kids' stuff in there, all kinds of stuff rattling around. But yeah, that's not to mention, I know when I haven't shot, and we're shooting a lot more this year because we have the pole building, it's insulated, heated, we can shoot, and we have the outdoor range. But I noticed, what do you think, Dylan? It's like if I have 2 or 3 days right around there go by where I haven't shot, it feels pretty stiff pulling back. And if it's a cold morning, during the rut,
I drew back while I was in the stand this morning, and I was like, "Ooh."
How'd that feel?
Yeah, I could hear my shoulder crack, and I'm like, "Oh boy."
That's not good.
Yeah.
So what I find is when you're shooting almost daily, well, for one, if you're shooting almost daily for 2 weeks and you take 3 days off, you're probably not going to feel it as much. But bottom line is if you're shooting 5 days a week, 4 days a week, you're going to feel pretty good when you go back to pull on that buck. So it's not just, I feel confident shooting. It's, man, I feel good pulling back. You don't have that. I mean, you pull straight back. You don't have any shakiness getting it back. It settles in fine. And yeah, really, really good tip. And that applies to October, November too. Get to a spot where you can enjoy shooting your bow. So that's an excellent one. I really like that. But make sure you watch our How to Hunt in November. We go through, I think it's 8 tips of really keep you on track in November. This is the #1 time of the month again, or #1 time of the deer season and the entire year for failures. But it's also a huge, of course, 100% opportunity for an incredible success. And that's what we want you to find this year in November and beyond. I appreciate you guys watching the YouTube channel, but I don't know if everyone knows everything that we have to offer, whether it's on whitetailhabitatsolutions.com, our website, our WHS Wildlife Blends, our seed company. Also Instagram you can check out. I'm very active on Instagram, putting strategies on there, photos of what we do every day. Much more active there than Facebook. But our seed, web classes, books, clients, articles. I have over 600 articles on whitetailhabitatsolutions.com, everything whitetail strategy. Of course, we have hats on there, and then make sure to check us out on Instagram again. But lots of stuff to offer. We're always coming out with new things, and this isn't the end of it. We have more things coming soon. Make sure to check us out.